Poverty, inequality, and economic growth.
Poverty is a stage in which a person or community lacks the financial resources and essential for the minimum standard living.
Poverty means that the income level from employment is low, human needs can't be met. Poverty stresses people and families might go without proper housing, clean water, healthy food, and medical attentions. Each nation may have its own thresholds that determines how many of its people are living in poverty.
Poor people cannot afford medicines and hospitals when they fall ill. Poor people cannot send their children to the school.
They are exploited by the wealthy people of the society. It makes the life of people full of mercy and pain. Now, inequality, differentiation distribution of income and economic wealth between individual or general population is known as economic inequality. It is also defined as gap between wealth of rich and poor people. The term inequality normally implies to inequality between people and group in a society.
How poverty, inequality, and economic growth are related.
Economic growth reduces poverty because growth has little impact on income inequality. In the data set, income inequality rises on average less than 1.0% a year. Since income distributions are relatively stable over time, economic growth tends to rise income for all members of the society, income including the poor.
Industrial development. So firstly we will see industrial revolution. So industrial revolution was a period of great industrialization and innovations. It started in late 1700s and early 1800s. It began in Great Britain and spread it quickly all over the world. Both industrial revolution led to invention that included the telephone, the steam engine, the sewing machine and the X-rays. The increase in the number of factories and migration to the cities led to pollution, deplorable working and living conditions and child labor. Although there were numerous advancements during the Industrial Revolution, rapid progress caused many issues. As workers left their farm to work in factories for higher wages, it leads to a shortage of food being produced. Secondly, we will see microeconomic crisis 1991. Due to huge microeconomic balance of payment crisis is also called currency crisis. It occurs when a nation is unable to pay for essential imports or services, its external debts payments. This article throws light on the many causes behind the balance of payment crisis. Impact of industrialization and trade on poor. Industrialization is often essential for economic growth and for long-run poverty reduction. The pattern of industrialization, however, impacts remarkably on how the poor benefits from growth. Pro-poor economic and industrial policies focus on increasing the economic return to the productive factors that the poor possesses. Example, raising returns to unskilled labor, whereas policies promoting higher return to capital and land tend to increase inequalities. Use of capital-intensive methods instead of labor-intensive ones tends to increase income disparities. So next we will see changes in manufacturing over the years. The monumental changes undergone by the manufacturing industries in the past couple of centuries are undeniably eye-opening from a modern perspective. First one is modern mass production. Modern mass production was undoubtedly one of the savior of the working person in the post-industrial world, especially when electricity began to be embraced in factories from 1890 onwards. Second one is computerization. In the latter half of 20th century, the role played by computers in manufacturing became more and more pronounced.
The rural and urban dynamics. The rural and urban sector of economy are interconnected economically, financially, and socially. Ideally, resources such as labor and capital should move freely between these two sectors. There has been a growing interest in the development literature on the linkages between the rural and urban development. However, the relationship between urban and rural sectors in many developing countries is still characterized by an economic dualism. In other words, by the coexistence of a modern urban sector and a traditional rural sector. Likewise, urban areas are linked to the rural sector through several channels. For example, various urban businesses and enterprises depend on rural demand for their goods and services. In order to upgrade the quality of life of people, especially the urban poor, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development has been actively introducing new schemes and reinventing the existing schemes which deal with these specific issues. First one, Smart Cities Mission. The Smart Cities Mission is a flagship scheme under the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. The Indian government aims at the building 100 smart cities across India with focus on planned urbanization and suitable development as a support system for the neighboring cities. The target of completion of the project was extended from 2019-20 to 2022 and 23. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana or Housing for All. The scheme was launched on 25th June 2050 for providing 20 million affordable homes for the urban poor including slum dwellers by March 2022. As per recent data by the Union Ministry, 51 lakh houses against the required 1 crore are approved in last 3 years of implementation. Over 28 lakh houses grounded and in various stages of construction and 8 lakh houses have been completed with around 8 lakh houses occupied by the beneficiaries.
Population, it is an integration for several beings belonging to same species or groups and share for same geographical regions is called as population. Development is a process that to create growth, progress, positive change or the addition of physical, economic, environmental, social and demographic components. When countries rank on the basis of population is China hold first rank with over 1.41 billion people followed and India holds second rank with 1.40 billion people. Second thing, positive effect of population growth on economic development. First one, manufacturing cost has been decreased. Second, availability of specialized is more. Third, development of basic infrastructural facilities is more. And fourth one is productivity rate has been increased. The negative effect of population growth on economic development. First, man and land ratio has been decreased as per capita income is declines. Third, ability to save the invest falls means another negative effect of rising population is the reduced levels of savings and investments. And fourth one is energy crisis. Increasing population rate has also created a pressure on generation of energy in order to fulfill the increasing demand for electricity, petrol, diesel, LPG, etc. For more energy needs to be generated. Fourth one is population index in India. The current population of India is 1.40 billion as June 18 on World Meter Elaboration. India has 2020 population is estimated at 1.38 billion people at mid-year according to UN data. Third point is India population is equivalent to 17.7% of the total world population. India ranks number second in the list of countries by population. The fourth one, the population density in India is 464 per kilometer square and the total land area is 2.97 kilometers square.
Finance for development. In emerging market economies, appropriate access to the various sources of finance is the crucial indicator for the process of development. In present scenario, finance is considered as a part of priority sector and involves focus on FDIs, international banking and finance, and bilateral and multilateral aid. The 5 key functions of financial systems are producing information about possible investments and allocate capital, monitoring investments and exerting corporate governance after providing finance, facilitating the trading, diversification and management of risk, mobilizing and pooling savings, and easing the exchange of goods and services. Sources of finance for development. Special drawing rights. It is an international monetary reserve asset created by IMF. Definition for SDR unit can be given as weighted sum of contributions of 4 major currencies which are constantly reevaluated and adjusted after in every 5 years. Beside calculation in terms of US dollar is done on daily basis. SDRs are not any currency but are special rights possessed by its members countries to claim to the currencies of IMF. International institutions. The international financial institutions are association of 2 or more financial agencies. The main objective behind establishing an international institution is to achieve international cooperation by dealing with economic, technological, social and cultural issues. Such institutions are owned and managed by the national governments. Foreign direct investments. FDI has become one of the major sources of finance for development in the recent years. National policies and the international investment architecture matter of attracting FDI to a larger number of developing countries and for reaping the full benefits of FDI for development. Government aid. Financial support provided by the government for development is one of the essential sources, especially for the underdeveloped and economically weak countries. The government of the country and other central agencies may provide financial support for economic, social, technical and political development of the country. Development financial institutions in India. Industrial Development Bank of India (IDBI). The key purpose behind establishing IDBI was to fulfill the need to have an apex body which exercise control over other financial institutions of the country and formulate regulations to be followed by other institutions. Industrial Credit and Investment Corporation of India (ICICI). ICICI Bank was established with the help of World Bank when it was providing assistance to the underdeveloped countries in setting up development banks. ICICI provides various kinds of funding especially to purchase or invest in capital asset which such as building, land and machinery. Small Industries Development Bank of India. SIDBI is a development bank dedicated for the betterment of small-scale industries, providing financial assistance and worthy factors of production in order to improve and encourage the small-scale industries is the main objective behind the establishment of SIDBI. National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. It is an agency established for providing institutional credit for production and investment for agriculture and rural development.
Trade can be a key factor in economic development. The effective use of trade can boost the country's economy and create an absolute gain for the trading partner in India.
Trade has been an important tool in the path to the development by prominent economies. However, trade may not be a panic for development as important questions surrounding how free trade really is and the harm trade can cause to domestic infant industries come into play. Overall export between April 21 and December 21 were at $301.3 billion, on an average 49.6% YOY increase. Overall import between April 21 and December 21 were at $443.82 billion, on an average 68% YOY increase. As of January 28, 2022, foreign exchange reserve in India stood at $634.28 billion. As of 2022, India's biggest trading partner are US, UAE, China, Hong Kong and Singapore. In year 1947, the License Raj was created in which most import investment was banned. In year 1980, India's average taxes were very high by today's standard. 123% on intermediate goods, 115% on capital goods, 129% on consumer goods. In year 1989, India's insufficient industrial sector supplied 95% of domestic demand for manufactured goods and 100% of all consumer goods as a World Bank report. In year 1991, under Finance Minister Manmohan Singh, India devalued rupee and moved toward flexible exchange rate and current account convertibility. It dismantled the license raj that had blocked import and export. It also took steps to open the economy to foreign investment. In year 1999, the reform of India's trade policy received another boost when a WTO ruling required it to dismantle remaining restrictions on import of consumer goods. In year 2014, an initiative by the Government of India to make and encourage companies to develop, manufacture and assemble products made in India and incentivize dedicated investment in manufacturing. The Government of India has been on striking important deals with the Government of Japan, Australia and China to increase contribution toward economic development of the country and growth in global market. India has the potential to increase its goods and services export to Australia to $15 billion by year 2025 and $35 billion by year 2035.
State and the market. There are 28 states and 8 union territories in India. Gujarat retained the top rank in exporting and Maharashtra retained the top rank in importing, as per Niti Aayog report. Maharashtra State Export Report. Maharashtra is the leading state for export in India till 2020 and the second largest in 2021. Constitutes of 20.7% of overall India's exports. The total export value of Maharashtra is 4,31,699 crore in financial year 2021. The top export products from Maharashtra are pearls, precious, semi-precious stones, drug formulation, biologicals, gold and other precious metal, jewelry, motor vehicle and car and iron and steel. The top countries to which Maharashtra exports are USA, Hong Kong, UAE, Belgium, UK, China, Singapore, Mexico and the Germany. Maharashtra secured second rank among the all state and union territories in Export Preparedness Index, ranking 2020 published by Niti Aayog. The FDI inflow in Maharashtra stood at USD 20,910 billion between October 2029 and December 2020, the highest among the all states in India. During Magnetic Maharashtra 2.0 in June 2020, the state attracted investment proposal of INR 1.13 lakh crore with expected employment of around 2.50 lakh. As of October 2020, the state has 37 exporting SCZ across various sectors including textile and apparel, food processing, footwear and leather product, multi-product pharma and IT sector.
Privatization means the transfer of ownership, property or business from the government sector to the private sector.
Privatization helps to economic growth. Privatization has a positive impact on the financial growth of the sector, which was previously state dominated by the way of decreasing deficit and debts. Privatization at a macro level, privatization helps to generate cash from sale assets, which can increase capitalization. It improves government physical health, generates more wealth, leading to overall economic growth. In the 2021-22 budget, the government announced the public sector enterprises privatization policy, as per which all public sector under will be privatized. Government has privatized 4 main sector, privatized sector and their regulators. First is atomic energy, space and defense sector, regulated by Department of Atomic Energy and Atomic Energy Regulatory Board of India. Second is transport and telecommunication sector, regulated by Department of Telecommunication and Transport, Telecommunication Regulatory Authority of India. Third is power, petroleum, coal and other mineral sector, regulated by Department of Power and Petroleum and Energy and Petroleum Regulatory of India.
Fourth is banking, insurance and financial service sector, regulated by Department of Finance, Reserve Bank of India, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said, strategic disinvestment of Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited, Air India, Shipping Corporation of India, Container Corporation of India, IDBI Bank, Pawan Hans, among others, and IPO of LIC would be completed in 2022. Regulation is a limitation of the behavior of firms or organizations imposed by the government. Government plays a central role in supporting economic growth and reducing poverty. It needs to provide good policy, strong institution and efficient public goods and services to ensure the private sector can be thrive and the benefits of growth reach all citizens.
Inequality. Economic inequality is the unequal distribution of income and opportunity between individuals and groups in a society.
Causes of economic inequality are globalization, fiscal policy, taxes, lack of educational policy, growth factor, labor market, highly unequal asset distribution, and technological change. Impact of COVID-19 on inequality in India are: we find that pandemic and subsequent lockdown caused at 47% decline average seasonally adjusted per capita real household income in April 2020 relative to February 2020. That means 42% in rural and 53% in urban area. Reason why COVID-19 pandemic is increasing inequality: higher paid workers working from home, while lower paid blue collar workers are typically don't have this option. Higher share of lower paid workers are essential services such as nursing, policing, teaching, cleaning and store attendance, where they are more likely to come into contact with people who are infected. Lower paid workers are more represented in sectors that have suspended activities such as hotels, tourism and services. Pandemic is a increasing poverty and inequality between richer countries that can afford to bail out their firms and the social safety nets and poorer countries that don't have capacity to do so. How stop inequality at economic level? Income inequality can reduce directly by decreasing the incomes of poorest. Policies focusing on latter include increasing employment or wages. Effects of inequality in India. The growing income inequality in India has negatively impacted poor citizens' access to education and healthcare. Rising income inequality makes it difficult for the poor to climb up economic ladder and increase their risk being victim to poverty trap. The top 10% of the Indian population holds 77% of total national wealth, where the 73% of the wealth are generated in 2017 went to the richest 1%, while the 67 million Indians who has comprised the poorest half of the population saw only a 1% increase in their wealth. There are 119 billionaires in India.